I feel like we totally went on the team side when we went on teams on the top there.
Right.
Like they're always going to jump in with their
Yeah. So we're going to talk about keeping up with technology, and these are just some of our hints and tips and how we do it or don't do it. And I just want to remind everybody, I mean, we're probably not going to show you anything very new, but hopefully we'll show you something maybe you hadn't thought about using it in that way before. But first I want you to ask yourselves, how much information do you want to receive, and where and when do you want to receive it? Because it's very easy to burn out on all the information.
I think that's a fantastic question because when I first got my Facebook account, which I only got so I could teach others how to use Facebook, I liked a whole bunch of things and realized I was going to get something from them daily, if not twice daily, and I immediately unliked them all because I thought, I'm not nuts to know. So in our own library, we've decided we just send out stuff when it's really important so that people aren't getting to Edwardsville Public Library stuff daily and getting aggravated with us. So I think that's a great question.
Well, they can always hide it too, though, and that's what I do on my newsfeed is, I'll like something to support it, and then generally I'll hide it. Mostly because I got my Android phone. It all comes on my phone, and I don't like my phone cluttered up with a lot of stuff. And if I'm out shopping or something, I want to see a status update, but I don't want to see an update on, from TechCrunch or something. So you really have to decide if you want a mobile app, a desktop app, if you want it to come in your email, if you want to visit a website. So there's many different ways to do it. You just have to find the one that's right for you or use all of them. I did the same thing with Facebook. I subscribed to a whole bunch of things thinking that's where I go to the most, and that's where I would most likely read the stuff because before I'd been getting it in my email through RSS feeds, and then delete, and then I didn't have time to read them all, and I'm just one of those people. I think it's a little OCD, but I like to have my email clear. I like to have my phone clear, so I can't stand all that clutter and stuff.
We actually instituted a little bit of a program in the library because we have, including, and again, I'm going to say it's my boss isn't in here, right? Okay. She looks around. I can't see some of you out here. We ran into this problem where I keep track of things with Twitter, so that's what I'm going to show you guys, and then the various other tools that I attach it to. So I follow the Chronicle of Higher Education on Twitter. I see their stuff coming through. One of our other librarians follows them via RSS feed. So she'll get an article, and then she'll mass reply or forward it to everyone. It's like, I'm also a higher ed librarian. I'm looking at that. I got it. The Chronicle of Higher Ed. I'm there. It's good. And it's like, I like to keep my inbox is for work things. People to contact me, so if they need help or whatever the case may be, book requests, things like this. I don't want 8 million articles in there. It's just not how I want to keep up. So we have a wiki up at the reference desk, and so I just created a new page that's just for, hey, if you see an article that you don't think other people have seen, this is the big no, post a link there. So then if I want to go in and check it, which I'm in every time I sit at the reference desk, I go into the wiki and look. So I'll go and see if somebody's updated and put in new articles, if I've got a minute to read something up at the desk. So that's kind of one of the things that we've done too, because I'm totally the same way. So those are the kind of things we're going to talk about.
So why don't you start with Twitter, because my tools kind of use Twitter.
Fantastic. How many people here have a Twitter account? Now, I know you don't use it. You've got a couple that don't. Okay. So we can do one of two things at this point. I can walk you through how to set up a Twitter account. For those of you who don't have a Twitter account, do you want me to do that?
I know how.
You're good. Okay, that's what I assumed. All right.
We can maybe do that at the end if there's time, if people want us to come by in any of these programs.
Yep, absolutely. One thing you do want to think about when setting up a Twitter account, you want your name to be something that people will actually recognize you by, and your name shows up afterwards. And try to keep it really short. If people want to retweet you the old way, it's like 9 million characters long. That's a little tricky. All right, so some of the two of the things you can do right inside Twitter that help you kind of organize Twitter. The problem with using Twitter as a tool for keeping up with technology is this constantly changing stream of information. And if you're not sitting at your desk watching it all day long and all night long, because people tweet, God knows, 3 a.m., you're going to miss things. It's not like an RSS feed where it comes and then it sits and it waits for you. These things are constantly moving and going. I like that because I'm interested in so many things that I follow all sorts of stuff. If I use an RSS feed, then it becomes really overwhelming, and I stop looking through it all because it's just I've got too much stuff in my Google Reader. So you can create save searches, and you can create lists of certain people. So for the sake of simplicity,
Our computer setup kind of weird, so.
really weird. God, every time I'm down here. No. That's my password.
That's what's wrong.
My password's too long. I swear to God, guys. Every time I just logged into it beforehand so I would know what it was. I was wrong. Oh, no.
Here you are.
Or if you can log in yours, you can show up.
Watch me forget.
It's my luck. It's my luck. It's in this room too. All right. So if you're not already in Twitter, as lots of us have been today. If you're in Twitter, go ahead and go into Twitter. At the top, you get a place to search for people, words, whatever you want it to be. This little search box. You can't get in either.
I'm gonna put it
Oh.
now.
It hates us. So you can run a search. So when I Leave You started, and I realized lots of people were tweeting with the hashtag I Leave You, I went ahead and ran a search for I Leave You. And then I saved that search. So then I can just go. You want me to go? We'll try this one more
I'll get
time.
it.
There we go.
It's just trying to remember which password goes.
Okay. All right, so you can run a search up here. So if you wanted to put in a search, say you wanted to see what people are saying about libraries, it's quite a broad search, but you can put libraries in there. Okay, and anytime, so you get the hashtag library, sometimes it's just a word in there. And all you have to do, can you scroll just a little bit? Save this search. And then if you go to your home page, sometimes it takes a second to refresh this, so you might not see it. And you click on the searches feature right here, right at the above your tweet, above your feed.
Okay.
There's your library search. Sarah also has an I Leave You search. So you can just click on it. And you can just quickly get to that search. Saves you a little bit of time. Put in and save the things that you want to keep track of, see what people are saying. This isn't just people that you follow. This is everybody out there with a public profile, what they're saying. I have a saved search for my library. I manage the social media here at Brookings, so I want to know what people are saying about it. So I have a search for Brookings, a saved search for Brookings Library, a saved search for UIS Library, a couple different ones, so I know when people are saying things, even if they're not using our handle. They use our handle in their tweet, I see it immediately, it notifies me. Sometimes they're saying things about us and they're using different terms. Because we at the beginning, whether this was the right choice or not, didn't use at Brookings Library, we used at UIS LIB. Because we thought, oh, it'll be shorter, it'll be easier, and then we realized very quickly that lots of people always refer to us as Brookings. So we maybe should have rethought that, but it was too late. Right next to it is lists, and you can just click on the word list with a little drop-down arrow there next to it, and create a list. Call it whatever you want. I have a list for I Leave You, people that I've met here at I Leave You. Whatever. Thank you very much. Create a description if you want, and then you decide whether you want it to be public or private. If you want other people to be able to look at your list, make it public. If you don't,
I made it private because it's silly, so.
yeah, and so then the easiest thing to do, in my personal opinion, is then go up, do a search for I Leave You, or run your search for I Leave You, see who's talking about it.
Are those tweets organized differently?
No, it's just those tweets, but it'll still be the newest at the top. And it'll keep going. So let's say, Mick's not here, but let's say you wanted to add Mick to this list. So if you clicked on Mick's name, or you actually have to click on his name, which is weird because it's 2 extra steps. Over, all his profile pops over here. You click on the little person icon, and you add him to the list. Don't accidentally block him. Makes really nice. Whatever you want. He's going to get a notification that Tara just added him to a list called whatever you want, which I think is slightly amusing. So then and then if you go back to your home page, you're fine.
I was reading the.
Oh. And you go up to lists. Sometimes it takes a minute to refresh. See, it's not there yet, but eventually it will be there. And then you can just really easily go to the list of all the people you put on it. You can constantly add to it. Then you flush out all the extra things you have in your feed. I'm a huge fan of It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia, so I follow all the actors on that show. But if I just want to sit down and know what's going on in the library world or at Island View or those types of things, I don't need to know what, Sweet Bee is doing. I don't. So you can kind of filter all of those things out. That's particularly helpful if you do use Twitter as a personal and professional account, which, a nice blend of 50-50 is always a really good idea. If you're going to do that, you can have separate. Some people have separate. I prefer to just put it all in one. Obviously, I can't even log into one account without being on my own computer with a password to save. Why would I want to?
I found too. I don't tweet as much as I read,
Mm-hmm.
unless I'm at a conference. I was kind of chatty this morning, but and mixing it in together, I think just kind of, it's not my main form of communication, but mixing it all in together, just I can browse it really quickly, and then if something catches my eye, I can open it up and look at it.
Yeah, and the nice thing about this is, so there's lots of blogs that I'm interested in. ALA Tech Source has multiple blogs that I'm interested in. So as opposed to just having to go to each individual blog, follow ALA Tech Source, and every time, most of the time, not every time, but most of the time somebody, whoever they are, whichever blog it is, whether it's Jason Griffey or somebody else, they just post it real fast. New blog post to professional band. And I can go and look at it. I know it's there, it's in my face, kind of thing, as opposed to trying to remember, oh, I haven't checked to see if Jason's written anything like this, let me go and look. So I use Twitter almost in the same way that an RSS feed or a Google Reader works. This is where I prefer my information to be. It just comes across, it's up on my desktop all day long. Yeah, I miss things, I certainly miss things, but it's there, so I can get it that way. But it's an easy way to kind of bring multiple things all together through one, Twitter account or whatever, and then you create these lists to make it more consumable for yourself. Because otherwise, it's way too big.
And I think now you can do the same thing probably with the Facebook list. I just went in the other day and cleaned a bunch up and set some up, but I don't use that feature as much. But if you wanted to keep it there, you could.
Yep, absolutely.
So, I use, to go with this, with the Twitter, after Sarah and I presented last time, she introduced me to Hootsuite, and I really like it. I do the library's Twitter feed here, and I have not set up the scheduled tweets yet like she said we could, but I will.
Your best friend.
Yes. So it shows the home feed of everything that the library is interested in, and a lot of that is local media and other libraries, because if I'm on here checking what's being said about the library or what I'm posting about the library, I want to see what other libraries are doing, and it's been very helpful because we have a neighboring library that doesn't communicate with us, and it wasn't until I saw it on Twitter that they would not be carrying tax forms. And so, I didn't boldly say, but we've got them, but I did change a little bit of my PR to say, we do have them, and put that out there. And also they weren't doing AARP tax assistance that year, so I was able to say to our staff, look, this is going to fill up really fast, and we might want to talk to them about scheduling more appointments. So it's really kind of helpful to spy on other libraries and see what they're doing. So you can also manage your Facebook page from there, which is what I'm going to do, because now I currently have about 6 people who are administrators on the Facebook page, and it was good at first because they all bring something new and something different, but now it's driving me nuts because they're posting programs out of order and just kind of willy-nilly, and their programs take precedence, and then they're creating events, and I just want to control a little bit of that. So, I want them to still do the quirky stuff, like when a kid is really cute reading a book, or when our maintenance guy is fixing the lights. People love that kind of stuff. So I'm going to automate the feeds, but you can see what's going on, what all the wall posts are. But then another neat feature is that you can keep up. You can do this with technology or you can do this with your community, but you can create search terms. And it will then pull out. So these are my 3 communities we serve. And you can pull these feeds out into searches and check them in Hootsuite, which you can also do in Google Reader, which I'll talk about next. Google Reader is really a nice tool because I put it right on my iGoogle homepage. So every time I go onto the internet, this is, no, okay. Every time I go on the internet, this is what I see. So I've got the feeds over there on Google Reader coming up. Unfortunately, even though I used quotes, Beach Park, Illinois, I went to Harvard, Illinois, and Zion, Illinois for my communities, a lot of what I get are dating sites or real estate. So you can fine tune those, but you can make a technology feed and put in any of the technology sources that you find most valuable, and then it'll show up there. Or you can go into Google Reader and they'll show up here. So I've got one for community and then work. And I thought last night I did one for tech, but I guess I got tired and I really didn't do it. I must have just dreamt about it. But you can search for things. So we could search for technology. And this will actually search within my reader. If you want to add a subscription, we would do technology, and then it would give us technology news here for CNN. So we can subscribe to that, and then we'll get all the feeds from that website. So it works that way. You can just, any of those websites you can subscribe to, and it'll come into one feed, and then you can see what's there. You can click on it for further details. The nice thing is, though, it also uses Google Alerts. And if you don't use Google Alerts, I'd recommend you do, especially for your library. It's always good to know what people are saying about you. Whereas Hootsuite will only search Twitter and Facebook and the social network profiles you put in. Google Alerts will search the web. And that's a lot of times how I find out that the local papers are printing what I send them for press releases. Because they don't tell me and they don't do it often, so I'll suddenly get a Google alert that it appeared on their website or in their paper. So you would actually have to go to alerts, which I had, but so you can type what kind you want. If you want, it's like the Google search bar. If you wanted to do everything or just news or blogs, videos, discussions, I did everything. How often? You can do once a day as it happens, once a week. All results are only the best results, and then deliver it to your email or to a feed. And if you deliver it to a feed and create the alert, then it will create the alert, and it shows up in your feed. So here's technology, and I can put it in a folder if I want to, but I don't have to. And then I go back to Google Reader, and here it is, technology news, and there's all the news. So you can start things that you want to keep track of, and it's just a good way to quickly go through.
Okay. So those are the 2 kind of platforms we're going to talk about for just getting the information to yourself in a slightly organized fashion. And I totally just double check this password on my laptop. So if I can't get into Digo, I might just crack. Do we have any social bookmarking users in the room? Delicious, Digo, still bookmarking?
I gave up when Delicious.
Oh, no, I don't want to join. Sorry. Okay. Same basics of creating an account. I'll show you guys how to walk through creating an account. But this is what I like about it. Because I like to get all my stuff in Twitter because it's constantly moving and constantly going, and you got to organize it, you got to put it somewhere, you got to know that it's out there if you want to go back and read it later. I use Digo. And the reason I chose this over Delicious, A, because Delicious was supposed to go away. It's not now, it's still here. But this has lots of tools built into it. So I have Digo on my iPad, and I have it on my Chrome browser, I'm a Chrome user. And they have, and we'll go through the tools in a second here, but they have an option for you to just kind of build it into your browser bars so that when you find something you like, it's just one click to add it. You don't have to go to the website, paste in the link, or anything like that. You're at the page, you click the little Digolet is what they call it. You add some tags to it, you add it to a certain folder if you want to, and it's there. You can read it later. When you set it up, the first thing you want to do on the left-hand side, you can create, it pre-populates lists for you. Things like my ideas, personal, shopping, study, and work are already there. I didn't create those. I have one for I Lead You. So as I'm sitting here at I Lead You and somebody tweets this really great article or somebody mentions something in a session or a book or whatever the case is and I want to remember it because I don't know about you guys, but the minute I start taking notes on paper, that paper will get lost, there's no doubt about it. I just pull it up, because I got the laptop in front of me, pull up what they're looking at, add it to Digo real fast, add it to the I Lead You folder, put whatever appropriate tags I need on it, and I'm good to go. And it's really simple. I was going to try to remote into my computer upstairs in my office, but they locked down this computer and won't let me do it. So you can see, you can do all of these things here. You can also create groups. I did a session in the very first session about just amazing projects. So I created a group, everybody kind of logged in and then they could add, we had people adding like 10s and 20s of links to this group. So it's always there, with little descriptions, with their appropriate tags. So it's, that's an easy thing to do if you've got, like a department group or some sort of task force in your library and you just want to keep people abreast of certain things. If you talk about distance education, for example, and you see these great things coming across, create a group for it. Have other people sign up for it, and then you can all kind of funnel things there. Another easy way to keep people from constantly sending you forwarded articles to your email. So let's look at the tools real fast, because that's what makes it really cool. Otherwise, it's just standard social bookmarking. As a tool for everything. This is the Digolet for Chrome. No, Firefox, so sorry. So here's the Firefox. So it's right there. You just click it, and you're done. The Digolet for Chrome also has the ability to, you can highlight and annotate as you're going through. So if it's a list of the top 100 resources of something but you're actually only interested in one, you can highlight it and add a little note to it, annotate it before you save it. It's on iPad, it's on Android, and those kind of are the big ones. So I actually, because I have Twitter on my phone, I have Twitter on my Android tablet, and I have Twitter on my iPad, and Lord knows which one I'm going to be carrying on which day. They have different purposes. So I can sit, with my phone in the doctor's office when I need to kill some time because they're behind, as usual. And I can just flip through Twitter, but the problem is that I'm on my phone. So what if I find a really great article? How do I save it? I use the Digo app. I save it to my Digo. The next time I go and sit at my computer and I've got some downtime to read an article, I can just pull it up real fast. Remember what it was, and I try to fish back through the tweets sent out by that person if I can remember who sent it. It's just everywhere I need it to be. They all sync together. It's kind of perfect. So that's pretty much Digo. Like I said, there's other ones out there. There's Delicious, which is still live and kicking. Several of them, which I think Taylor's going to talk about, and multiple others, but this is the one I use. So it's kind of a nice, I find something in Twitter, I'm already in my Chrome browser, I hit the button, I add the tag, put it in the appropriate folder, and I'm good to go. I can read it wherever I want at that point.
So how many of you use StumbleUpon? Okay.
I've signed up for it, but I don't use it.
Okay, I don't either because it's a huge time suck, especially when you put in your interests. But if you want to use it in this vein for technology, it's really cool because I've discovered things, articles, things going on online that I just wouldn't have found otherwise. And with StumbleUpon, you create an account, it's social, so you can share things and you can have your friends on there and all that kind of stuff, but I don't really use all of that. I just went in and I created the account, which again, we can help you with afterwards if you're interested. And they basically ask you just a few things about, you know, what your interests are. It's very vague. And then once you create your account, you go in and you can fine-tune those interests even more. And then you can fine-tune them further by giving the page a thumbs up or thumbs down, so it will learn kind of what your preferences are. I was also able to turn off videos and some other things because I just don't like to watch web videos. I'm sure they're very helpful and some people don't mind them, but they bug me, so I turned it off. But we can stumble the interest. We can also, this one doesn't have it, but there's a toolbar you can download for your browser, and there's also an app for your phone. And then all you have to do is go to your browser and keep hitting the stumble button if you want to, and it'll take you to a new site. You can bookmark it, you can edit your favorites, you can thumbs up, thumbs down. So this is 34 Photoshop tutorials that make you look like a pro. So if you're doing a class on Photoshop, maybe that would be interesting. And then you just hit the stumble again. 30 must-see web generators for lazy webmasters. So it's just cool to see what's out there and to see, you know, what you can use. And like I said, you can kind of get lost in it sometimes, though. But if you're looking for something new, sometimes I feel like, what's the next new thing? We've been hearing about Web 2.0 forever, it seems like. And, you know, I don't know if they just need a new term or, because who knows, I mean, the general public doesn't know what participatory tools are. So, you know, I always feel sometimes like we're, you know, what's the next big thing? What's coming up next? And what should we be getting into? So it's just a helpful way to kind of see what's out there. We can do apps. I did just upload. I did just upload the handout I created, and I didn't cover everything, but it does have the to the main page. But it does have, you know, briefly some of it, and then it has a list of the apps and a list of people that we follow. We'll talk about that in a minute. But the apps, do you want to talk about the iPad, iPhone?
Sure. Okay, so I have some of them here on my iPad, so if you want to come up afterwards and look at them. Some of them I don't have because you have to pay for them. And if I don't use them, I'm not going to pay for them. The fastest way to find something when you're, if you say you're going to use Twitter, the fastest way to find people to follow is to run your search and see who's talking about it. Period. It makes that simple. When you go to conferences, when you go into a session, if you like what that person says, find out if they're on Twitter or if they're blogging somewhere, you know, whatever the case may be. Big organizations, you know, lead up. That's a, you know, pretty easy one to pick up. School librarians, if you don't know who Buffy Hamilton is, you totally should. If you're on Twitter, you should absolutely follow her. She tweets a lot. She tweets a lot of really great stuff. Academic libraries, Jason Griffey, though if you're into technology at all, you should be following Jason Griffey, period. But we have a really nice wealth of people right here. So run a search for iLeadU, you're going to find Mick Jacobson. You're going to find David Likas. You're going to find Tony. He's an info activist. He tweets a lot too. Bobby Newman, some of our past speakers. Beck Tench is out there, tweets quite a bit. Who else am I missing? Eli tweets. So those are easy, you know, use the resources we have available to us, you know, like right here. Past speakers know those people. Those are easy ones to find on Twitter. And then, so for the apps, I have, so I can keep up while I'm going, I have a couple of things that are kind of my lifeline. So I have Diigo on here, so I can always get to it, and it's embedded in my browser. So if I find something when I'm on my iPad, I can just as easily hit the button in my browser. I'm on my way, and then I can go back and I can go through them. Flipboard is hands down one of my favorite apps. It's been one of the best apps ever. It's winning awards nonstop. It creates a social magazine. And like I said, I have this. I know you guys can't see it. I have a 1, so I can't hook it up to the screen. I tried to convince my boss I needed a 2 just for this session, and she said no. But what it does is it takes your Twitter feed and it takes your Facebook feed and any other RSS feed you can really think of. It has some pre-generated for you. So Wired.com, super great. You can just put them all in here, and then you just flip through it literally like a magazine. It pulls the pictures from the links out and kind of puts them straight forward into it, and then you can bounce out to where you need to go. So that's a really great one. This is just a Wi-Fi tablet. So if I'm out somewhere and I can't connect to the Wi-Fi, my favorite app, this one is at a cost, is Instapaper. Instapaper lets you save something for later and allows you to read them when you're not connected to the internet. It's awesome. It's like $4.99. It's totally worth it. So that way you can just, and there is a free version that only allows you to put 10 articles in at the same time, but still just as good. You just have to kind of keep it filtered as you finish reading, take something out. But that's hands down my favorite thing on the planet. When I'm in the car, when I'm traveling, I don't know why airports don't have free Wi-Fi. It's driving me crazy, but they don't. So some do, never the ones I'm in. So it's kind of the easiest way. Wherever you are, you can read those 10 articles, and if you pay for the upcharge, as many articles as you want, and they all live in there. So that's pretty awesome. Let's see what else we got. Clipboard, Instapaper. There is a reader out there for Google Reader. There's multiple of them. One of the most popular ones is called Reader, R-E-E-D-E-R. So you can do your Google Reader here. Let's see, what else? Feedler is another one. We'll pull it here. Google RSS feeds. And then there's a bajillion Twitter apps for this thing. Twitter, I think, is my personal favorite. There's just one from Twitter itself, and a couple other ones. And then if you want to use Hootsuite or TweetDeck, which is just another social media management tool, I prefer Hootsuite for multiple reasons that I won't go into now. The Hootsuite app is amazing. So if you just want to use Hootsuite, create all of your feeds and all your comments for your various searches and things like that, you can put in your Facebook, you can put in your Twitter, you can put in Foursquare, you can put in all sorts of things, and then have these searches running all these things at the same time in their little columns. You can read it all here as well. And a lot of them are also on my phone. So I have Hootsuite on my phone, I have Digo on my phone. It's called PowerNote for Android, or something like that. Let's see what else. Instapaper, they're all out there. So it kind of brings it all together. I think the biggest task is figure out what platform you want to use, figure out how you want to organize it and keep on top of it, and then figure out on what devices you're going to use it to make sure that you have the appropriate software for all of that. Okay.
These are just a few of the apps I had tried out on my phone, which I will probably take off after this presentation because I've decided that, to me, this is work stuff. Some people live for it. That's great, but I'm at the point now where it's work stuff, so I'm going to do it at work with a desktop client or web-based client. I just don't want it, going off when I'm shopping or something. That's just, so you have to make that personal choice. Is it work? Is it something you want to be on top of all the time? How much do you really want to know? These are a few of the companies that I follow on Twitter. Again, you could do RSS feeds to their websites. You could follow them on Twitter. You can follow them on Facebook. It's up to you. Lifehacker, of course, is just a good one. They've always got some cool ideas. And, a lot of the other ones, you'll get a lot of repetition if you subscribe to all of them, but then you kind of also know what the next big trend is going to be because, you kind of don't pay attention to it necessarily if it comes across once, but if I see it on 3 different sites, then, I'll know it's something to pay attention to.
I have a Google Reader account, and I look at it about once a month because I limit what I'm getting, so that's manageable for me. But for a while I was doing Mashable because I really liked it, but it had so much every day that it was driving me nuts. Is there a way to filter by tags what you get from the site so that you're not getting everything, or is that just not an option?
I haven't really looked at that, but we can maybe look at that.
Because I really
afterwards.
enjoyed all that information, but it was, a lot of it was not anything I needed to know, and some of it was really great, and I just wish I wasn't getting pages full of it every day.
I follow Mashable on Twitter, and it's just like,
Right,
Yeah.
so I was wondering if there's a way to control
We'll look
what
at that
type.
when we're done and we're coming together. To be honest with you, I set up my Google Reader and I did look at it last night, but I just haven't had time. And I know that that's what a lot of people say, and that's a really bad example to set. But with everything going on lately, it's really hard to keep up.
It is, that's why I don't look at it more than once a month, and that's why I don't wanna open it and have 10,000 things in it. I want it to be more controlled, what I actually need, you know?
Well, I know that with the Google Alerts, you can do a specific word within a website and create an alert for that. So you could do a specific word in Mashable and create an RSS feed for that.
Can you read through those real quick, because we can't quite see them?
Oh, yeah, and I tried to post it to Web Junction, Illinois, and it didn't upload, but I'll try again, just so it's there. But the companies that I follow are Gadget Lab from Wired.com. It's gadgets and high-tech hardware. TechCrunch, which has breaking technology news. Wired, which is the feed for Wired Magazine and Wired.com. The Next Web, which is news on technology, business, and culture. Mashable, which is news on web culture, which is what I like about Mashable. It's a little different because it talks about a lot of, the social media type of things, trends and stuff. Social media and technology. ALA Tech Source is the American Library Association's technology news. I don't know, does anyone follow that a lot? Okay, because I've kind of found, and maybe it's because I wait for the newsletter to come out every American Libraries Direct, but everything in American Libraries Direct I've already seen. So, it kind of, I don't know how advanced they are on top of.
I mostly follow TechSource to see when the various bloggers that I follow have posted something new, because it's one follow, it's multiple people.
Engadget, which is a magazine covering gadgets and consumer electronics. Engadget Mobile, which covers their mobile technology. Lifehacker, which are tips, tricks, and technology. Lifehacker is kind of a big mash of stuff because it'll tell you something really cool you can do with your computer or your phone or something, but then it'll also tell you how to make a bar out of an old dresser. And it's just kind of cool.
Which one is that?
Lifehacker.
Okay.
It's very interesting. It also, there's all these great little tips and tricks and, and then Read Write Web, which is a technology blog.
It's also a good idea to look to see if the major newspaper in your area has a Twitter feed. Lots of times they'll break them down by subject area. So you can follow like the Chicago Tribune, but just their technology news.
Or the New York, I think New York Times has a
Great to
technology, and a lot of them do.
So that's an easy way to do it as well. I also have, because I'm an academic librarian, there's Wired Campus, which is an individual chunk of Chronicle of Higher Ed, as well as if you're into programming and things like that, Code for Lib, that's a numeral 4, so it's code, numeral 4, lib, L-I-B. That's a really good one. And then LITA, I mentioned earlier.
Can you say it again?
LITA, L-I-T-A. That's the Library Information Technology Association. It's part of ALA. And I think those are my only additions.
Well, and then people to follow too. We said we could have written a very long list. And again, it's up to you, whoever you like to interact with most. Some do strictly professional, tech things. Some do personal things mixed in. So it all depends on what you like. But I have found personally, here's a lot of the well-known technology librarians. And that's fine, but I've found that the regular, maybe unknown librarians are the ones that I get the most information out of. They'll just suddenly tweet that they're trying this new thing, or how they're applying it in their library. And do I have him listed? Librarian Daniel Messer. I've never met him in my entire life, but I followed him on Twitter and on Facebook and other things, and I just love the guy because I'm not sure what he does. He does everything, and he does programming, and he does circulation, and the things he talks about. He he talks about technology and how he uses it and what he's looking forward to, but he also talks a lot about customer service and kind of makes fun of other people sometimes. But he's very entertaining and he does swear, but you know, he's just a regular guy, and
How do you
you know,
spell his last name?
MESSER. And the easiest way, I think, to do that is go on Twitter. You know, when you create an account, go on Twitter and find someone like here, like Sarah or me or whoever, and see who people are following, and then just start following them. They'll get a notification that you're following them. No big deal. A lot of them have thousands of people following them. So just start picking ones out that you like, and then when you find out you don't, you know, if you don't like their posts, you can unfollow them. So.
There's lots of people out there, like the librarian Black doesn't always just talk about technology. She actually typically talks about larger things, lots about ebooks. But inside that, we're talking about the technology that goes along with whatever issue or concept she's talking about. There's lots of people like that, certainly. Bobby Newman, very much the same way.
And most of the instructors, I think, David Lanke has a blog page, and there's and people that that are thinking about technology, or it's very easy to find people and follow them. Twitter will make suggestions, and you can try them out.
Yeah, Lorcan Dempsey tweets a lot. His is, I would say, like 85% professional. On rare occasions, you'll get his opinion on something, but mostly he's just pushing out articles or blog posts, things like that, things that he's coming across and reading. Jason Griffey, he's one who also does his personal life. So I've never actually met him outside of right after a session. I asked him one question, and that was it. But I know that he was just on vacation at Disney World, because he was posting about it. But he, posts his, his blog posts and his thoughts when big things happen in the library world. Lots of stuff about gadgets. He's kind of a gadget guy. John Blyberg's another one who mostly posts things about his personal life, but every now and then you'll get a really good, tech thing from him. So he's worth following as well.
And again, it's up to you. Whatever your tastes are, you can fine tune everything to it. So, what about you guys? Are there other ways that you manage technology, or that you keep up with it, or people that you follow?
I follow Flavorwire, because I'm not really in with new music and movies and stuff, and we're starting to get a lot more questions to YouTube dumps. Even the kids are like, when someone asks me about fashion, what? The first time, so I use that, and they have different stuff too. Some of it's literary, some of it's music, and it's easy to just kind of skip through. And I really only use Google Reader. I love it. It has no content. I like Stephen Abrams.
Yeah. He tweets quite a bit. Another one, not typically where it's just like technology, interface technology, but it's in there. Michael Stevens.
Yeah, the technology's in there, but again, and I was thinking when Aaron Schmidt was talking, the signage. Michael always posts really bad library signs and good library signs, and I actually sent him one and he posted it. I thought it was so funny. I walked by the coin machine one day, and somebody had posted a little note with a penny in the cross there, because people kept putting pennies in the printer coin op. And they said something like, "Pennies make me sick," with a sad face. And I just thought it was so funny, so I sent it and posted it. But a lot of the signs, talking about it too, were mean and ugly, and everything says no, you can't do this and you can't do that. And, our adult services department just threw fits because we decided that people could use their cell phones in the library, because they were anyway. It was a losing battle. So as long as they're quiet, that's okay. Took down the signs, nobody missed them. So.
Anybody else? Tools that you use, people you follow?
Well, I use it for a little bit of stuff called Make Use Of, but then they always send out to be like really cool websites that you can use for different things. I mean, I'm more, I guess, quirky, but like they have one of the recent ones they sent out was a way that you could redo Google Voice so that it looked like you're calling people, like you want to look like you're calling from work, but you really weren't at work. So it's kind of stuff like that.
That sounds pretty cool. What was it
maybe you suck.
The beauty of this thing is we wanted to maybe not so much just over inundate with you guys with, blogs and magazines and things like that. We all have separate tech interests, whether it be gadgets or, technology in school libraries or public libraries or academic libraries, or when we're talking about reference or circulation, cataloging, all those things. The idea is you just, build the package that works for you with the software you've got, and this works for any topic. If you're interested in whatever the case may be, that's not technology. This is a really nice way to kind of tighten up and make all of the information that's out there. We're librarians, so we want to know everything. We want to know what people are saying, and just make it consumable for yourself. Yes.
To deviate ever so slightly, what I encounter at home is out and out rage of my coworkers because they have so much work, they can't even pretend to look at Twitter, and they feel this huge pressure to try to keep up with quote-unquote technology that in the end they just get frustrated and furious and slap a pencil on the table and say, this is technology.
Mm-hmm.
And so my question is, if there was one thing you could get a update from once a week, what would it be?
The answer to that question depends on what type of technology you want to stay in touch with. I would say if you want something that's not related to libraries, fairly broad, wired, maybe, would be kind of the biggest, broadest ones. You kind of know what's going on out there for multiple things. If it's social media, it's Mashable,
Okay.
period. The one thing that I found that I had to do, Twitter is a part of my daily routine at work. It's always up in my browser, but I had to find a way so I could keep track of what was going on. I see the tweets as they're kind of coming through while I'm doing other things. But what I needed to stop doing is then stopping and reading that article at that exact moment. And that's where Digo helped. And that's where Instapaper helped. So I dump it over there. And then I have two really big problems. I'm a librarian, so the minute information is thrown in my face, I want to read it immediately. And then I want to find 4 other articles that talk about it too, in case I don't understand everything. It's just how I am. I also have a really bad habit of eating lunch at my desk and not actually taking a lunch break. So I took those 2 problems and I made one solution. I always walk away from my desk for at least half an hour. I don't always get my full hour, but at least half an hour. And I take one article that I put into Digo or into Instapaper and I sit and I read it. So I get that opportunity to, at the end of the day, I've always read one thing and I've gotten away from my desk and eaten my lunch like a normal person. So that's what works for me, because those were my issues and that's how I dealt with it. So you can't read every article. You can't always know what's going on. Sometimes it's point of need. We want this. We have all these questions about music, so I got to follow this because that's going to give me some information. Sometimes you just kind of want to keep up with what's going on. It depends. Our lives get busier, but I step away for 30 minutes. I eat my sandwich. I read my one article, and then I've done something and focused on it, and I know what's going on for that moment.
I think for some of them too, you may be able to, fine tune it to set up a weekly digest or something. There's I don't know how many people use listservs anymore, but.
One of my colleagues.
That's the only way of communicating. Take listservs.
All right.
This is pretty cool because we just went to Windows 7 for some computers, so that's something to check out. Whatever kind of you think your patrons are going to ask about, or your staff's going to ask about, or you're curious about. I think it's good, but just to kind of browse things and just know what's out there and what's possible. You don't have to absorb everything. I have a coworker who goes on vacation for a week, and it takes her 2 days to catch up on her email because she has to read everything. And I'm like, all this stuff that comes from like our system and things like that, it's over and done with. Just delete it. Look at it, delete it, get rid of it, don't even open it. And you have to do that with some of the tech stuff. I'm not really into gaming, so I would just kind of delete all the gaming stuff. I don't have an iPhone, and even though I should probably be up on some of that, I usually delete that stuff. So you do have to pick and choose, and don't be afraid. You can always go back and find something again. And again, if you hear about it 2 or 3 times, then you start paying attention.
no, we don't have the ability at work to have social, media.
Mhm.
And so consequently, and it's basically because we're on a network that is not only for the library, but it's for the whole Secretary of State.
Okay.
So basically, social networking has to be on your own time.
Yeah. So Google Reader would be your option. I can't imagine it's filtering Google. You know what I mean?
And I don't use Twitter. I do have a lot of those that I do get. But I can see where, and I never thought about using Twitter, but Twitter.
Yeah. Thank you.
I know
I know what you mean. I
my
totally know what you
kids-
mean.
my
Don't worry about
kids-
it.
keep telling me that, but I can see where that would be, something comes that would be very helpful. But that's something I probably wouldn't want to put on my Android phone, correct?
Well, I have Twitter, TweetDeck, and Hootsuite all on my phone. Twitter is mine, and then the Hootsuite is for the library. Because I manage it, if on the weekend if somebody says something about us, I want to know about it. I've made that decision, I want to know about it. But you can turn off all those notifications. Whatever app or widget you use on your phone, it has its own notification settings. So lots of the things that I have on my phone are just there so that if I am sitting in the doctor's office or if I am on a bus going somewhere on the train or whatever, then I can go and check into it.
Okay, so Hootsuite would manage my Facebook
And your Twitter.
and my Twitter.
And a slew of other things. If you wanted it to, LinkedIn, MySpace, Flickr, WordPress. The list keeps going. Yeah, I
And
love.
I put it on my tablet,
Mhm.
my phone, my computer.
Mhm. And then just turn off all the notifications, so that it's totally when you have the time and the desire to sit down and read something. Then you can check into it, but it doesn't necessarily have to push it into your face.
Okay.
Although I think Cheryl, I think there are some workarounds, like Sarah said, Google Reader, you can probably set up a Google Reader account, and do that at work. And I'm thinking too, the, RSS feeds linked with Outlook, so it comes in your email.
Yeah, you can see that too.
For your desktop, iGoogle works really well, because if you don't want to look like you're checking Twitter and Facebook, iGoogle is right embedded there, and it looks like a basic news site, but, because it's really vital to keep on top on those Twitter and Facebook.
Well, I wouldn't want to check it at work.
Yeah.
Believe me, I wouldn't.
Well, for those of us who manage our library
Yeah,
space,
I have to.
Right, and I
You
understand,
have to.
I understand your ability, or the reason why you guys do, but we can't do that, and
Yeah, so you just find the device that you want to do it on, whether it's your home computer, or your phone, or your tablet. Just find the software you want to use, and sometimes you have to bundle. Like Twitter, because I would then constantly want to read it, and didn't know what to do with it. Once I had Deco, it's like, bang, just put it over there. So that works for me. I have this collection, they're all tagged. I have no problem tagging again because I'm a librarian, so I want it to be nice.
oh my goodness, so proud.
But that's the best thing to do, absolutely. Mhm.
I just downloaded it, the Twitter app to my phone, I'll show you.
Okay.
Any other questions, comments, concerns? I have no idea how much time we have, because every time we get
12:30, but
shifted.
they had talked about shifting to
Shifting.
So what we'll do is we'll be done, and we can upload the documents.
Mhm.
And if you want to hang around and have particular questions or want to see something, we'll be here. And
Sarah, do you want me to upload that to the document?
I can do it, it's just there's something I didn't do right, I'll do it.
Thank you.
And like I said, I've got a lot of these apps on my iPad, if somebody wants to see them. Oh, I agree.
bonds.
Yeah, I know, I just,
Oh, no, I just put a bunch of stuff in. That's in there, I'm like, I looked through that. I'm like, we need that Instapaper.
read the last one. No need to read for the summer reading.
And I will around
Read or read.
I'm recording myself here.
I didn't know, did the sign in?